Valerie Oula, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Of course. So I just want to go through a little bit of your bio because you do so much. You are an energy healing expert. You're the author of the books A Little Bit of Reiki and your brand new book, Rest Rituals.
Yes.
Founder of Modern Ritual NYC and the director of Vibrational Energy Healing at the Well in New York City. Wow, that's a lot.
Thank you.
So I'd love to start out for those of us that aren't familiar with the term energy medicine. What does that mean and how did you get started in that area?
How long do we have?
However long it takes.
So energy medicine is basically a giant umbrella term for alternative healing therapies, alternative healing modalities that essentially work with, our biofield, our energy fields. And through different modalities, we begin to open up and shift energy in different ways. And basically, it's the big umbrella term for things like Reiki or theta healing or, I don't know, countless other things that I cannot think of right now.
And so how did you get started in this field?
So I was a casting director and a photo shoot producer, and I basically had the photo shoot from hell.
Okay.
In, I think, 2011, and basically everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Okay.
And it was a big celebrity photo shoot, and it was just a full-on disaster. And I remember that morning thinking, you know what? It was the day of the shoot, and I was like, I'm not getting out of bed. I'm not going to show up. Meanwhile, I'm the producer. I'm like, you have to show up. And of course, I showed up and I got through it. But after that, we went to Sedona because we were shooting in Arizona. And in Sedona, I was like, okay, we're going to go look for these like vortexes. I've been hearing about these like energy vortexes. I'm going to go find them.
Okay.
And so we go on a hike and I'm like zoned in. I'm like, gotta find this vortex, need to feel this energy, need to reset. And all day, nothing, felt nothing, couldn't find anything. And I finally gave up and I sat down and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do a little meditation here. And then of course, everything opened up. And then I turned around and I saw, so this is how you know you've found an energy vortex in Sedona. You have these trees that are basically kind of twisted from the energy. And right behind me was this really gnarly, super twisted giant tree. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
When you finally let go of needing to do, right? And you lean back and you allow and you receive, it's all there. And I literally heard when I was in Sedona, sitting in that meditation, that it was time to start doing some energy work.
Wow.
I mean, there are other stories before them, but that's essentially how
Yeah.
I got into the professional part of my healing career.
That's incredible. And so for those of us that, aren't master energy healers, is this something that we can do at home?
Oh my God, of
Yeah, can
course.
you tell us a little bit about that, about what we can do,
Well, essentially everything's energy, right? So one of the things that I love to share with clients is that anything you do in your life, when you are intentional about it, you can literally shift the energy, right? So let's say sometimes you're feeling stuck, you're feeling stagnant, and you've got a pile of stuff that you've been meaning to deal with forever now, and it just sits there, and every time you look at it, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Right? Which affects your energy, which affects essentially your energy field. So if you start clearing some stuff out, right? First of all, it's going to make your environment more harmonious. But second of all, if you get really intentional and say, oh, I'm clearing my shit out. I'm really actually moving energy. I'm going to create more space and more spaciousness for what I actually want in my life. Huge.
Wow.
And easy.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Okay. And so, as your new visiting faculty member at IIN, which we love, welcome to the IIN
So
family.
exciting. Thank you.
Of course. And so, how do you think health coaches intersect with energy medicine, or why are they so needed right now?
People are desperate for support. And I think what's beautiful about health coaching and energy work, they're completely, different sides of the same coin. It's about listening, right? It's about allowing like someone to recognize that they're being listened to and acknowledged, and that is actually, the healing that we all need.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Health coaches, such good listeners. Yeah, absolutely. And so, since you've, been part of the IIN family, what do you think makes IIN so transformative, so unique?
I think what's so unique is community. Your community is so welcoming, so warm. It's literally like a giant hug, right? Where you're being supported, and when you're supported in this way, essentially your nervous system's like, ooh, I feel safe, I feel supported to be who I am. Opens up so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we love to ask this question.
Okay.
Do you have a morning routine, a nighttime routine? Can you tell us about either or both of them?
So in the morning, I definitely absolutely start with matcha. And for me, that can be a very meditative experience, depending on my state that morning, right? I might be super mindful and in this really meditative flow and whisking the matcha in a really like rhythmic pattern. Or if I'm really, really off and I'm all out of sorts, I'm like just making a mess. And when I pour the matcha, I get it everywhere. And that's a reminder for me to slow down and pause, and to recognize that I need to come back to center, and, do that by taking a gentle breath in and out. And then you sip your matcha and you're like, this is the most delicious matcha ever, because you're really, using it as a way to regulate and also to reset and anchor, because it's the morning. So you want to anchor yourself into something that is grounding and steady. And nighttime routine is really about listening to what my body needs, right? So some days that is just like a warm foot soak, or just some tuning forks, listening to sound, binaural frequencies, little breath work, little pranayam, and then to bed I go.
Wow, sounds like a whole arsenal of.
It's all there. It's whether or not like, I'm going to use the longer version or the shorter version, And we always have time for something. We always have time for just an intentional breath in and out. And that's all you need.
So we love to ask this last question. What is one wellness tip that you'd recommend to anyone?
So if I had to share just one tip, I would say that you could take your favorite essential oil. Mine is frankincense, all variations of it. You can take that one essential oil. Depending on how sensitive you are, I would recommend using a carrier oil, but you can drop one drop into the palms of your hands and set an intention. Set an intention for the day, set an intention that you could anchor in to your system with this scent, right? And so you drop your frankincense in the palm of your hands, and your intention maybe for the day is to be grounded. And you take a gentle breath in through the nose, think grounding, exhale, think grounding. And in that way, you have anchored intention to scent. And throughout the rest of the day, if you need a pick-me-up, if you need a reminder, if you need to get back on track, you can do it again and take a little Sniff.
Valerie, it's been an absolute pleasure. And on behalf of everyone at IIN, you're in the IIN family, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.